Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Futurama Season 4, Episode 2 of my show, which is also going to be about Episode 2. Now, Episode 2 is another Christmas-based episode in the Futurama series. I say that because the title of the episode is called A Tale of Two Santas, because, it references the second season, because with the whole robot Santa Claus thing and stuff. And basically, if you guys remember back when I did that episode for the previous season where the robot Santa Claus was first introduced, oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm sorry I have to bring it up, but I figured I should mention it, because this episode is sort of the same kind of thing. But anyway, it's not the same episode, it's a different storyline, but it's the same theme of an episode in this case. But anyway, getting into it, the Planet Express crew are basically, along with the rest of the world, trying to get prepared for Christmas and be prepared to keep Santa Claus out in order to, because in the future, the robot Santa Claus is a murderous robot who only judges people to be naughty because of a programming standard, and a programming error that set his standards too high. Oh my god, I'm sorry I had to reference that, but I figured I have to bring it up again. I felt it necessary. And anyway, basically what happens is, after that, what happens is, after they get set up for Christmas to keep themselves safe from the robot Santa Claus, Professor Farnsworth then sends Fry, Leela, and Bender on a delivery mission to, which ironically, this delivery mission he sends them on in this episode is to where Santa's base is on the planet Neptune. Oh my god, I'm sorry. So, ironically, they were safe because he put the armor-plated stuff over the building, but because of the three of them being sent on a delivery, they're outside of it, so they're not safe. Oh my god. Anyway, and while they're flying and the ship, Fry's reading basically the Christmas letters for Santa, and then basically they're all sad letters because people don't want to see him because of what happened last year and stuff, and basically Fry said that in his time Christmas was to bring people together, not tear them apart. But that's ironic because of what Fry says at the end of the episode. I'm going to explain what that is later, but I just wanted to bring that up. Anyway, they arrive on the planet Neptune, and then basically what happens is they encounter these things that they think are Santa's elves. Now they're not technically, as one of the elves, so-called elves said, they're not technically elves. We're not elves, we're Neptunians. And the one he's attached to basically tells them that they're just shrimpy because the robot Santa Claus doesn't feed them. Oh. And then basically what happens after that is Fry, Leela, and Bender go to deliver the Christmas letter to Santa Claus, but they're wondering where he is, and then basically one of the elves that's attached to another elf tells them that he's there in his ice fortress. And I just figured I should bring this up very quickly. They get excited about making the toys thing because of what Fry mentioned, and then the elf that they met that's attached to another elf is trying to calm them down and he says that there's no need for them to make any toys since Santa inadvertently judges everyone to be naughty because, like I said, because of the programming error. Anyway, they go to deliver the letters to him, and then first what happens is, actually, they actually get the elves to deliver the letters and stuff, and then basically while the elves are delivering the letters, they come up, this is gonna sound kind of funny, but they come across these two dogs that are in a chain up fence, and they start barking. Now, the reason why the dog barking thing is funny is because of the way they bark. They bark to the tune of the Christmas tune, Jingle Bells. Oh my god, because they go like bark, 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 bark. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, but that's just so hilarious, and I thought I'd bring it up. Anyway, they come upon where Santa's, the entrance to Santa's ice fortress is, and then their top parts of their hats get sawed off because of a height thing that he has set in place, and basically the robot Santa Claus is basically writing down, after watching the people on Earth, he's like, oh, let's see who's been naughty and who's been naughty. Now, again, the reason why he said that is because of the programming error that set his standards too high, and he invariably touches everyone to be naughty instead of naughty and nice and stuff. Oh my god, I'm sorry, but I felt I had to bring that up again since it's relevant. And he basically sees mobsters beating up a shopkeeper for protection money. Naughty. Shopkeepers not paying their protection money. Very, very naughty. Which in this case, it makes sense that both. I mean, I think either way, mobsters beating up shopkeepers for protection money as part of the protection rackets, and shopkeepers not paying is either a bad thing regardless. Well, it's a bad thing on two different sides of the same coin, but you get what I mean. Oh my god. And that's when the elves show up, and then the Santa Claus robot gets startled by them, and he tells them that don't they ever knock? Who knows? He basically tells them, don't they ever knock, and he said that who knows what kinds of naughty things he could be watching. He gets New Orleans on this thing, you know. And then the elves basically run from him, and then basically, what happens is, I'm gonna just backtrack to Leela and Fry there for a second, because while they were in, the sled with the letters and stuff, basically they come up with this plan. Basically, Leela comes up with this plan to basically destroy the robot Santa Claus using apparently one of a robot's weaknesses is what's known as, I don't know if this is true or not in the future because we will have to wait and see, but anyway, apparently a robot's weakness is called a logical paradox. Basically, it's a logical question that someone, in this case, Leela asks. Anyway, I'll explain what the logical paradox is in this case, and I just wanted to bring that up since I mentioned it, and it doesn't work in this time, but anyway, basically after Leela and the others show up, the Xenobot starts to fight them, but then Leela tells them that logical paradox that I said, like, she tells them, hold it, Santa, consider this, you were programmed to destroy the naughty. But many of those people that you actually destroy are nice. Oh, and the funny thing about the logical paradox thing is the 1001 thing, man, that it causes Bender's head to explode. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Anyway, basically, getting back into what I was saying with Santa Claus's logical paradox, Leah's like, hold it, Santa, consider this. You are programmed to destroy the naughty. But many of those people that you actually destroy are, in fact, nice. I concede that you are the one that is naughty, and logically, you have to destroy yourself. And his head basically explodes, but then he gets reattached, and then the Santa Claus robot's like, nice try, but my head was built with paradox. Nice try, but my head was built with paradox-absorbing crumple zones. So, in a sense, the logical paradox was ineffective against him because his head was built using paradox-absorbing crumple zones. So, in a sense, the logical paradox weakness of a robot doesn't work on it because of that. I mean, it did work, but the head grew back. But still, it's regardless of it, it just makes it so funny. Anyway, after that, they start running for Santa and fighting him, and then he gets stuck in the ice afterward. And then, basically, and then basically, after that, what happens is, the elves get excited that they can make the toys now that Santa's stuck in the ice. And then, Fry says that he'll deliver the toys, and then basically, the Santa Claus robot says that a human can't deliver their toys, and then Bender's basically agrees with the Santa Claus robot. He's like, Santa's right, we need some kind of robot. And then they see him and and then Bender's like, oh crap, I'm some kind of robot. Oh my god, I'm sorry, I had to bring that up. Oh, but since I brought the North Pole on Neptune thing up, I'm gonna mention this very quickly before I continue. There will be a song that's gonna be sung in one of the 4-part episodes for season for the Futurama series that was a part of like a Futurama movie. I believe the movie that was 4-part episodes for TV purposes was called Bender's Big Score. Now I'm not gonna say what the song is, but I just wanted to bring that up since this portion of the episode takes place on the Ice Forge on the planet Neptune in Santa's workshop. And the song also takes place in that movie. I'm not quite sure which part in the 4-part episode it takes place. I'm going to have to watch that 4-parter to find out. But anyway, I just wanted to bring it up since I mentioned it. And they basically sing this montage basically about them getting the chance to make toys for Christmas. And then basically, oh, that's funny. And the funny thing is, when they're doing that, they're also sort of rhyming and stuff, and then basically, now the funny thing about Bender's part of the song is like, Bender has one funny part in the songs, and then basically, he's like, I should really give you elves a beating, but I really have to fly. And then the Santa Claus robot that's stuck in the ice and the sentence in the song If I wasn't stuck here frozen, I'd harpoon you in the eye. Oh my god. And then I just wanted to backtrack. I just wanted to get a small portion of the song out of the way because it's not that I couldn't remember the song. It's just a small, a minor song, and a lot of the singing is done by Fry and Leela and the elves, and Bender and the robot Santa Claus do some singing, but the ones that I felt were most relevant were the two lines with Bender and the robot Santa Claus, and the rest of them was just a song. The beginning half of the song was about them making the toys and stuff, so I just wanted to skip over that part. I'm sorry if I skipped over it. I just wanted to make it so it's shorter for the video. Anyway, basically, Bender goes to deliver the toys that were created on the Ice Fortress of Neptune, and he arrives at one of the houses, and he gets into the house. Well, first he's like bending the grates, and he's sort of talking to himself. Basically, he's like, gee, Bender, how are you gonna get past those parts? I don't know, moron. Maybe by bending them, and then he bends the bars, and then he gets into the house. And then the little boy that's there tells his mom that Santa's through the perimeter, and then basically the boy's mom is telling him to take a suicide pill so he doesn't, so they don't have to. So that Santa Claus doesn't have to kill them, and then basically Bender says that he's good Santa and brings gifts, but the father basically says that he's not to listen to him because he's the father of all lies and the uncle of all tricks. Oh my god. I'm sorry, but that's kind of hilarious. Just the father-uncle thing. Oh my god, I'm sorry. But anyway, then the people at the Planet Express building are basically getting the stuff built, and then basically Leela's trying to remind the professor not to shoot Bender because he's the Santa Claus robot for Bender is Santa, so they don't want to cause any problems. And then basically the professor says, yes, you sound like a broken MP3. But when Bender shows up in the professor's building, the professor brings out the shotgun and starts shooting him. And then Leela's like, Professor, didn't you hear what I just said? And then he's like, no. Although I think he did hear what she said, but because he's an old man, he doesn't remember. Oh my god. Because, again, I think it's because he's an old man and stuff, because he seems like he forgot a god, but in this case it also makes it kind of funny, because Leela told him not to, and yet on impulse he did, partially because of the shotgun thing, which is what they normally do for Christmas, and also because I think it has to do with the fact that he's an old man in the series and stuff. Anyway, oh my god, I'm sorry, but I had to get that out of the way. And then basically, Zabat sees the Bender version of Santa Claus, and then basically he wonders how they're doing, and then how he's doing, and then basically Bender as Santa Claus tells Kwanzaa that it's awful, everyone hates him and stuff, and he's at least they hate you for a reason, and he's just a misunderstood robot. And then basically Kwanzaa said that he doesn't have much time left because he's got to deliver the traditional Kwanzaa book. Now Kwanzaa is essentially a holiday from Swahili, which is a African country. I'm not gonna get into the specifics about it, but basically the book is is Kwanzaa, and then basically Kwanzaa said that he's been given books out for 15 years, and then basically... Oh, now that I brought up Kwanzaa Bot, I just want to mention, remember that 4-part episode, Bender's Big Score, that I mentioned? There will be 3 holiday figures from the Futurama series in it, and doing the singing segment for the song along with the main characters. The Kwanzaa Bot and the Santa Claus robot are the other one, and I'm not going to explain who the third one is until I get there, but since Kwanzaa Bot showed up, I figured I'd mention it. Anyway, basically, Bender ends up in an alleyway after being tossed out of another building, and then basically, after that, Bender decides to take a break, and from his Santa Claus duties, and open his own present, which is a beer bottle. And then basically, but that's when the human police officer and the robot police officer see him, and they're excited about capturing him. And then the robot police officer said that he smells a big promotion for him, and then the human officer's like, and a big fat juicy rehiring back on the force for me. And then I'm not sure about the specifics. I don't know if, because it was never actually explained further, if he was temporarily let go from the police force in the episode before this or something, but because it was never explored anyway. The robot Santa Claus gets captured, and Bender as the robot Santa Claus gets captured and put on trial, and then basically, while he's on trial, the judge is telling him that how does he plead for his crimes against humanity, and then Bender says that he's not Santa, but then, oh my god, and then it's like deja vu again, because basically Farnsworth sees Bender as Santa Claus, and he's like, there he is again, and he uses the shotgun to shoot him. And then basically, they bring a little girl to the stand, and then basically, after that, the chicken lawyer, hyper chicken lawyer, is asking, maybe, after the hyper chicken lawyer is done talking, Bender talks to the girl, and then he's like, isn't it true that you've been paid for your testimony? Yeah, she gave me $1. And the girl's like, yeah, she gave me $1 and some candy. And then he said that, and yet she hasn't said what he told her to say. How can anyone trust him? And then basically, what happens is, after that, the judge gets a little frustrated with waiting, and he hangs together and says that whereas he's got a turkey dinner in the oven and stuff, he finds the defendant guilty, and then basically what happens is, basically they sentence Bender as a Santa Claus robot to be executed. Oh my god. And the way they execute him is with this 2-pronged giant electromagnet that has a countdown device that's a random number generator. I just wanted to bring that up since I'm also so close to the end of the episode. I figured I'd bring it up anyway. Anyway, basically the mayor is holding Bender on the front side of the magnet with the other 2 sides of it, and he said that once the random number generator hits 0, he'll be pulled apart piece by piece by the magnet's powers, killing you in the most humane way possible. And then basically Bender's like, but Mr. Mayor, that's not humane. And then basically the mayor says that it is humane for the witnesses because then they're not bored. Oh my god. And then, so then he activates the random number generator, but since it's a random number generator, it brings up random numbers and he can only flip it when it gets to 0. So he starts counting it down from 10 and then he keeps saying some other random numbers, and then the others in the Santa Claus robot, the others in Santa Claus disguises, and Zoidberg in a Jesus disguise says that if he wants to kill him, he's got to go with him, and then basically, the mayor says that, not even Santa, how dare you, and then basically, he sees that the random number generator has hit 0, and he's like, hey, 0! And he pulls it, and then the magnets start pulling Bender apart, which causes him to talk in folk because of what magnets do to his inhibition unit. They make him go crazy and act like a folk singer. And this folk song that he sings, oh my god, the folk song that he sings in this episode when the magnets are pulling him apart is swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. And then the real Santa Claus robot basically barges in, and then basically, the mayor sees the real Santa Claus robot, and he tells Jesus that Zoidberg disguised to Jesus to get him, and then Zoidberg says that he helps those who help themselves. And then basically, Bender doesn't want Santa to kill him, but then the Santa Claus robot says that he's not going to kill Bender. He needs him from save Xmas. And then basically, Fry tells the Santa Claus robot not to trust Bender because he's evil, but the Santa Claus robot says that he knows he is, but he doesn't have a choice because he's running late, and if he doesn't complete his brutal rampage, then it just won't feel like Xmas. And then basically, what happens is he's asking Bender, sort of like in a sense of the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer sort of song sense, because he's like, Bender, won't you join my sleighing tonight? And then he's like, well, 'tis the season. And then he and Bender start causing havoc around New York, and then basically, they're back at, the rest of them are back at the Planet Express building, and then basically, they're being terrified and stuff, and then basically, that's when Fry realizes, he tells them that maybe their futuristic Christmas isn't so bad after all, but then Leo tells them wonders what he's talking about, because he said it himself, Xmas should bring people together, not tear them apart, but then that's when Fry mentions that fear is what's brought them together. And then basically, Farnsworth tries to deny that a little bit, but when an explosion happens, he's like, oh, maybe it wasn't fear. And then basically, Bender and the robot Santa Claus are basically finishing up destroying part of the rampage, and then basically, the Santa Claus robot gives Bender a present for doing his job while he was trapped in that ice block. But when Bender opens it, he realizes there's nothing in there. But then the Santa Claus robot is like, oh, it may seem empty, but the message is clear. Play Santa again, and I'll kill you next year. And then he kicks him off the sleigh into the fire, and then that's basically where this episode stops. So if you guys like this video when I post it, just please give this video the real best you guys can, and I will see you guys probably tomorrow for the next video. But until then, guys, like I always tell you with this series, just please give this video the real best you guys can. And like I always tell you with this series, fun on a bun.